Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion. And today, I want to talk to you guys about more of the craziness from Boruto Chapter 72. And we need to discuss the fallout from Boruto Chapter 72. As we saw at the end of the chapter, Code has now amassed an army of 10-tailed soldiers and seemingly is ready to carry out his revenge. In the same chapter, we saw that Team 7 were being called to the Hokage office for what we know is going to be a dangerous mission. This has led to some fans wondering, are we about to see Team 7 in the first team battle since the Boro fight, which for reference was almost 30 chapters ago? In particular, given the recent developments in the last two chapters, people have begun to wonder about Mitsuki and the fights going on ahead. Now, there's really good reason for this. So in the manga, we've begun to see more of what the anime's shown us in regards to the bond with Boruto and Mitsuki, which is that Mitsuki has a strong urge and desire to protect Boruto wherever he can. This goes back to a time before Boruto Chapter 1 even was thought about, where Masashi Kishimoto drew an extensive one-shot manga chapter that focused solely on Mitsuki's origins and ended with us learning about Mitsuki's fascination about Boruto coming directly from Orochimaru, who left the breadcrumbs for Mitsuki to view Boruto as being the son to Mitsuki's moon. Since then, we've seen a bit of a shift. Mitsuki's attachment to Boruto has grown to the point where we have seen him more than once break Orochimaru's rule about him using Sei's transformation powers, and each time Mitsuki's done so, the common theme has been for Boruto's safety and well-being, which is why I've made several jokes in the past about Mitsuki looking at Boruto like his little Jogan princess. In the Momoshiki arc, Mitsuki tried to use it when he saw Boruto was in danger, only to have Urashiki rip out that Sage chakra. In the Mitsuki desertion arc, he used it to inflict damage on Ku to shift the scales of battle further in the favor of Team 7. In the Kara actuation arc, he used it to the point of damaging his own internal organs in order to attack Deepa so as to save Boruto's life, and he used it again to reinforce Boruto's super compression Rasengan by adding Sage transformation chakra to the compression Rasengan, which was then compressed even further with the combined efforts of Team 7, which in of itself speaks to how strong Deepa was, that it took something like that to take him out. I say all that to say that we've now hit a point where in the manga, where Mitsuki's will to protect Boruto is back at it again. When Mitsuki and Sarada learned that Boruto was almost killed by Code, which in reality was a lie, and the truth was that he'd actually been killed by Kawaki, we saw very strong and visible reactions from Sarada, but especially from Mitsuki. Sarada felt useless and angry that she couldn't help Boruto, and she vowed to get stronger. She was pretty pissed off when she said that. However, the true red flag was our boy Mitsuki. Not only did he make the vow to get stronger, but he directly said the idea of coming face to face with the person who almost killed Boruto filled him with rage to the point where he didn't know if he could control himself if that ever happened. This is very important to note because the mission that Team 7 is about to go on isn't just Team 7 being there. It's also going to be Kawaki who's joining them, and given where everything is currently, I believe we're about to have more than one conflict befall us in the coming chapters. It's one thing to say that Sarada is going to lead Team 7 onto this mission, likely to escort Amato, Ada, and Damon back to Konoha once they re-enter the Lane of Fire. If that happens, there's a strong argument that can be made that we're going to see Code send out one or multiple of those 10-tailed soldiers after Boruto. There's a chance we see them attack before they reach Ada and Damon, because it makes no sense narratively for those soldiers to encounter people who are stronger than Code, even if they've been juiced up with this chakra and it's mixed in with their own chakra and it's contained in a humanoid body, which by extension should make them stronger. However, here's where the conflict comes in. Code can use the claw marks to control the Jubi soldiers. He can speak through the Jubi soldiers, and he can see what the Jubi soldiers see. Why is this important? If in the process of that fight, Sarada and Mitsuki end up saying something cliche along the lines of making Code pay for almost killing Boruto, or he won't be able to finish what he started with Boruto, or whatever cliche throwaway line that you're going to have for dialogue, it puts the conflict right at the front doorstep for the story. Code is not the smartest guy in the room, but he's not dumb enough to sit there and hold the bag for something he didn't do. To have Code take credit for killing Boruto or almost killing Boruto, when in reality he didn't actually do so, it makes no sense for him to do that. It would be like if Kiba showed up and killed Hinata and Shino saw it and knew the truth, but when Naruto shows up and starts raising hell over and has Rasengans and shadow clones flying all over the place because somebody told him that Shino killed Hinata, and Shino doesn't say the truth even though he's standing right there with Kiba, Shino is going to pay for a crime that he didn't commit. Code is not dumb enough, at least not to the point to look at all this stuff and not point out to Team 7 that is standing right there with Boruto, that they're right there with Boruto's real killer, or that they have a double standard by giving Kawaki a pass, because Code doesn't know the full situation amongst Team 7 like we do, and that's instant conflict right there injected into the scenario. And as a writer, that's what you want. You want to muck things up with conflict, and that's exactly where you're at right here. The line of Mitsuki not being able to control his rage in front of the person who tried to harm Boruto is there for a reason. Whether that's Team 7 ends up in another dysfunctional situation like we saw in chapter 58, where Sarada as a Chunin couldn't prevent Mitsuki and Kawaki from throwing down. Could you see Mitsuki pretty much throw on Black Air Forces until Kawaki is on site from here on out? That ain't the craziest scenario to look at. We've seen him throw down before, and that was over a training disagreement. This is going to be something more serious to look at. This is literally over the death and the murder of a comrade from a situation that Kawaki caused by leaving without telling anybody. If you don't think that Mitsuki's going to tell Kawaki that you got a green light on you from now on, I really think that that is a mistake if you don't think that's the case. While Boruto shares blame for hiding the truth, nobody can deny that, Boruto at least has the benefit of saying that he was ordered by the brass to lie and not tell the truth. There is no benefit of the doubt for Kawaki here. Yes, he killed Boruto because it needed to be done, and Boruto asked him to do so, but as Shikamaru noted, he directly disobeyed a direct order from the Hokage. He didn't even hesitate when it came to doing so. Mitsuki and Sarada at the very least understand the respect for authority that comes of being a shinobi. Kawaki has shown very little respect in that aspect, and as we've seen in the anime and as we've seen in the manga, he's growing more and more resentful towards the way of the shinobi. Just like Sasuke gets resentful every time he sees those emo eyes merchandise that you see on the Naruto Explained Teespring that you can get for 20% off using the promo code PACK. PACK, 20% off as a celebration for Boruto getting packed up by Kawaki. We also got the Boy Who Lost Everything merch. 20% off, and the merchandise is only going to be available for a limited time, so get yours now if you want to support the channel or if you think the merchandise is cool. Even more, Kawaki has gone as far as to care very little for the way of the shinobi in general. I think it's very likely that at some point you see this come out as a battle. Perhaps not at the end. Perhaps you don't see this until the end of the battle against the Ten-Tailed Soldiers. Though if it does come out early on, it's going to be Mitsuki likely pulling back on his emotions, or Sarada as a team captain reining in Mitsuki due to the situation they're currently in. You might even have a press the Boruto button situation where Boruto's the only one who can tell Mitsuki, look, your little Jogan princess is still alive. I even have a brand new tramp stamp, but it's on my chest. Mitsuki might only be reined in by Boruto. That is definitely a situation, but based off of Mitsuki's character, I would think that he would be measured enough to hold off until the conflict is handled, but I do think he is going to address it. However, I believe we're in for this conflict rearing its head in the near future. I think it's going to be one of the things that causes a split between Team 7, whether that's open tension between the two parties or whether that's an open fight during or after the Ten-Tails issue, we don't know, but what we do know is that this is a chance where things get a little out of hand here, and this has a lot of potential to raise the conflict in the story, and it can make the consequences of the last few chapters pay off in a big way, which for a battle shonen, your consequences have to push the conflict forward. That being said, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Are we at hand for Mitsuki learning the truth about Kawaki killing Boruto, and how do you think Mitsuki will react once that happens? While you think that over, consider watching these other videos you see on the screen right now.